The readings are powerful today about Paul and Barnabas and how Paul and Barnabas were speaking up about the truth of the faith, and yet the people completely misunderstood and thought Paul and Barnabas were gods, Zeus and Hermes. And no matter what Paul and Barnabas did, the people kept on bringing sacrifices to them. And Paul and Barnabas would say, no, listen to the truth. And people did not want to hear the truth. Same is true in the gospel. Jesus saying, I will send you the advocate, the Holy Spirit, to speak the truth. Sometimes in our lives as Roman Catholics, we have to pray to the Holy Spirit and ask for that grace to speak the truth about our Catholic faith, to speak the truth of how we've been taught and how the faith has been passed on. That from the very beginning, the church was always committed to those on the fringes of society, the poor, the widow, the orphans, the alienated, the foreigners. As we live in our world today, we still need to speak the truth that the Catholic Church is still committed to those on the fringes of society, new peoples, people with physical or mental challenges, people who do not speak English. And yet, many times, the Church, the Catholic Church, and all of Christianity is perceived as being against certain people. That is not the truth. The Church sees all people as created in God's image and likeness. All people are deserving of that fundamental dignity of being created in God's image and likeness. So to speak the truth, as John tells us in his gospel, is just not in words, but also in deed. Indeed, how do we treat those on the fringes of society? Many parishes have a strong social justice committee or program of donating food or donating clothing. Parish that I'm at in Wayland, Good Shepherd, once a month, a whole group of parishioners go into Boston City Common and distribute clothes and food, the socks exchange. Other parishes have a very committed St. Vincent de Paul Society that care for those folks in the parish or the city or the towns that might need some extra help. The Church has always been committed to those on the fringes of society. And yet constantly we hear people say, oh, the Church is against this group. The Church is not against any group of people. The Church sees all people as being created in God's image and likeness. And all people are entitled to that same fundamental dignity and respect. Paul and Barnabas were constantly trying to speak the truth. And the people said, oh, you're gods, we're going to do this for you. And Paul and Barnabas, no, only Jesus is the one worthy of worship. Only God is the one worthy of praise and thanks. And so we see Jesus in these later chapters of John's Gospel telling about the advocate, the Holy Spirit, that one who will always plead our cause. In Jesus' day, the advocate was almost like one's own personal lawyer, one who always defended you, pleaded the cause before the court. Sometimes we need to invoke the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit in our own lives. We who have been baptized and confirmed have this great treasury of the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And sometimes we might need to invoke that, to ask for that wisdom, understanding, right knowledge, to share with the gifts of the Holy Spirit of love and patience and that understanding of compassion. So to speak the truth in deed and action means to gently correct. Say, no, the Catholic Church stands for all people. No, that is not true. The Catholic Church welcomes all people. The Church is always trying to be forgiving, as Jesus is forgiving. As we live out these last weeks of the Easter season, more and more the readings from the Acts of the Apostles and John's Gospel will be speaking about the Holy Spirit. And that was the gift Jesus left with his disciples after his ascension, that the Holy Spirit will be with you. And it was that gift of the Spirit that propelled the apostles and the disciples to go forth and to preach and to baptize and to make new members of the church by speaking the truth, by being that messenger of God's love. We too have also been commissioned by our baptism to speak the truth. So just like Paul and Barnabas, we need to ask for the Holy Spirit that we may speak the church to say that the Catholic Church is welcoming to all people.